It's VaSilly Fisk, and I'm on a case. It has a lot of very strange connections. What I did today is I went to one library, and at the very front door, they've got a stacking book machine, just for trundling books around the library. And they leave books there that are to take home and don't bring back. They're gifts to you from the library. One of the books was by Kitty somebody else who used to write about the Queen. And it was a book about the Bush family dynasty, and the page I turned to was when Alexander Haig told Richard Nixon that it was time for him to resign. There was another book about dorks, and it had a Beyonce in it. And then it was a Dan Brown book about codes and things. Da Vinci Code. And then the last one was Louis L'Amour, who was a famous writer of Western stories. He was a famous one for Colonel Potter of the MASH 407 7th. Now, we also have some various things that we're not going to talk about because of privacy. However, what we did get yesterday on YouTube from one of the psychics was that people who die voluntarily, and that they're all connected. Now, that is the craziest, kookiest thing I've ever heard. But it came from a psychic on YouTube that we were given to listen to. So what are we to make of it? People choose to die, and they're all connected. I cannot understand. It does not make any sense, except if you're in some higher dimensions where they don't die. In 3D, pretty well, everyone other than Baba G. Baba G does not die. He keeps reappearing. I don't know if he actually drops a body. I don't think so. But, we've been talking a lot about ascension, like on Stargate, TV show Stargate. People ascended. Even Jesus, after he, that he was hung on the cross and nailed to the cross, and then he was dead. And then he came back after they rolled the rock, this big stone, they wheeled it away from the mortuary. And there on the alabaster plaster, it's just like a bench made of alabaster. They found nothing but the linen cloth that his dead body had been wrapped in. And then outside, they thought the man was the gardener, and they didn't recognize him. How could that be? Because it turns out in the story, they say it was J.C. himself, pretending to be Chauncey Gardner. But after he was there for 30 or 90 days with his friends, he ascended. So you've got ascension in the story of Jesus. You've got ascension in the story of Stargate, the various incarnations of Stargate. No one say, but this particular body has been on Stargate at least on 2 occasions, perhaps more. And as an extra, of course, not as a starring role. Don't go looking for me as a star. I am a 5th business. That means I come and connect the dots and help try and trigger you. I come into your life as a 5th business. You can look it up, or you could read the book by Robertson Davies, the great Canadian man of letters from Southern Ontario. But a 5th business in drama is a person who comes into your life and is basically a change agent. They come in there, it's written into your plot of your own personal story. This person comes in and affects you, somehow changes you. And you're changed, and then you go off in a new direction. And if you didn't have a 5th business, then you would be going in the wrong direction. The 5th business is to redirect you. Sometimes a director on a film will redirect the actors. It's like, I know you did it this way, but I need you to do it somehow differently. It's a redirection. So a 5th business in a play or in a movie or in a novel is someone, I think they usually say it's a someone that comes in, not necessarily, a thing, but a character that comes in and somehow intermingles with the main characters and gets them going in a different direction. And that is what I do. I'm VaSilly Fisk as a metaphysical investigator. I come in and I help to explain to you certain things. Now, okay, let's go to Jerry Weiner. He was the one who was married to Habibah Abelin, who was the assistant to Hillary Clinton in the clutch. So you had Weiner and Abedin and Clinton. And what do we know about these ones? Well, Weiner had stuff on his disk on his computer that no one wanted released because it was something that no one wanted to be released. Now, today I came across something in Canada about a whole pile of judges. Apparently a dozen judges were, they think, murdered because they were on a case that had to do something to do with the province of British Columbia and water. And it's Water Crimes War Canada. I can't remember the website. But apparently, the Governor General, who is the Queen's representative in Canada, was tipped off about another judge on this case has been bopped off. And this Governor General, it was Johnson with a T, Johnston. David Johnston tipped off the Queen. And she sent her son, Prince Edward, on an emergency visit to Ottawa to do some investigations, first-hand news. Now, what does it mean? I don't know, but it came up on my Facebook today. It apparently was a post that we had posted some time ago, and I completely forgot about posting it, and I looked at it and I said, my goodness, it doesn't even make any sense. And sometimes that's what happens. Now, sometimes I post 8 or 10 things in a day, and when they give me my memories on Facebook, I was like 1. So, it's being selective. The Facebook algorithm is very selective at what it gives me back. And it was something to do with water crimes or water war crimes in Canada. There is something fishy. Now, as for David Icke, who says that the Queen herself is fishy and Prince Edward by extension, I cannot explain it. I look at the woman and she looks like a normal human being, and there are stories about her in World War II where she was driving around in an army jeep as a WAC, which is a woman. I don't know what WAC stands for. WAC. That's interesting because there was W.A.C. Bennett, who was a famous premier of British Columbia, Canada. A premier is like a governor of a state in the United States. A premier is the head of a province. His name was W.A.C., and the Queen herself was a W.A.C., a WAC. During World War II, she drove army jeeps, and she was a mechanic. So, to go and smear and besmirch her, you would have to have good evidence, Mr. Icke. And I know sometimes we play with this on our comic channel, but we just want you to know that we have no firm evidence that she is a reptilian shapeshifter, and our Pindar is a comic character, and we do it for fun and jollies, and, we don't mean anything difficult. And we certainly don't condone, this, whatever is going on, and we don't know what Prince Edward's report was back to the palace, but what the heck is going on with a dozen judges being bopped off on the case about water in Canada. And now we've got another, well, it keeps going on and on and on and on and on. Now, Tricky Dixie Nixon, that was in this book about the Bushes that I picked up and turned at a random page 65. Tricky Dixie Nixon, let's see. Well, he was the president at the time when Pierre Trudeau was the Prime Minister of Canada. Prime Minister is, well, not quite the same as the president, but usually is like the head person that meets the president. So you had Tricky Dickie Nixon and you had Pierre Trudeau. Today we've got Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau. So the Trudeaus are like the Gandhis in India. It's like, a dynasty of people. The Bushes were a dynasty. The Trudeaus are a dynasty. The Castros, because it's Castro, now it's his brother, Fidel and Raul. And in Indira Gandhi and a number of different Gandhis are different names, but it was Nehru and Gandhi. So it's a dynasty. It's a duck dynasty that runs these tin pot countries that we call countries, and why they can't get anyone else in there, I don't know. And everyone knows, oh my goodness, I keep going on and on and on. Anyways, have I given you any updates? Well, I'm giving you clues, and I can't put it all together for you because I don't know. All I can give you is a report. It's a progress report. And we also do incident reports, which are anomalies and bizarre things. But I'm not giving you that huge book because it's done by my automated assistants, and it's just not available to be put on YouTube. Now, I think I've given you enough for now. I've got other ones that want to come on your telly here on YouTube and give you some up-to-dates. I'm VaSilly Fisk, Fisk and Chernyanko on Carnaby Street in London, quite close to Canary Wharf. Canary. It's Canary. It was built by a Canadian, Reichman. He was a Montreal fellow who built Canary Wharf in London. It just goes on, the connections. Anyway, this is a very strange one that people choose to be dead, and it's all connected. I cannot understand what the psychic is talking about. I just have to shake my head.